Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to No Drama Just Movies Rapid Reviews. So, I watched Shelby Oaks recently, and I had some thoughts. Right off the bat, I didn't know anything about the writer-director Chris Stuckmann before I watched this movie. But I wanted to check this out because YouTube has been buzzing with this. A movie critic made a movie. Because Mike Flanagan was involved, and because 'tis the season. So, did Chris Stuckmann make a good movie? Well, it didn't work for me. It feels very much like Blair Witch Project at the beginning. From the found footage and the missing ghost hunters to the mysterious stick symbols. But it didn't come with the same genius marketing, so it didn't have nearly the same effect as the admittedly groundbreaking Blair Witch Project. In fact, the documentary-style beginning threw a lot of exposition our way and felt a bit heavy for that reason. Now, the tagline of "Who Took Riley Brennan" is really cool, even though it's a bit unfair to the others who disappeared with her, and it sets up an intriguing mystery of the search for this missing woman. The mystery itself was okay, I suppose. It's a little weakened by the fact that Mia simply gets handed the biggest clues. She gets the tape from Miles, finds the book of photographs that tells her what happened to Riley, and Nora just willingly points her in the right direction. The plot sometimes didn't make sense. For example, Mia gets the tape that shows Riley's abduction, including the face of her abductor. But she refuses to go to the police. She says it's because they've given up the search and don't care anymore. First of all, we've never seen this supposed investigation, so we haven't seen the police giving up. But also, you know what would make them care and continue the search? The evidence you hold in your hands. Instead, she goes out there by herself, travels first to an abandoned prison where she knows Riley felt something strange, and then to a creepy woman's house. I mean, your sister disappeared under mysterious circumstances, and you don't consider bringing someone along with you? Also, while she's in the prison, she comes face to face with the Hellhound and the Incubus, and then we see her outside running away. How did she escape? Can we see that, please? While we're on the Hellhounds and the monster, the horror didn't quite work for me either. We had the obligatory shots of things in the window and the glowing eyes, but I felt like the horror atmosphere was missing. A lot of these scenes felt slow because they weren't filled with anything. Which is a strange thing to say when Mike Flanagan, may I say, king of the horror atmosphere, is involved. There's a scene at Nora's home where Mia is looking at the photographs and you can see Nora blurry in the background. It made me think of the It chapters from Andy Muschietti, where some of the horror was just people being creepy in the background. And I was hoping for something like that here, but it didn't happen. It might have made a better drama than horror film. I like the idea of the abducted sister who's eventually found, followed by the aftermath. How did the sisters cope with that? But that brings me to what I want from my horror, and to the horror that works for me. Mike Flanagan has said before that there are two levels to a horror story. There's the obvious story of what it's about, a killer clown terrorizes kids in a small town. But then there's also the underlying story, the theme, I guess you might call it, grown-ups ignoring or not understanding the danger their kids face. On the outside, Shelby Oaks was a film about a woman looking for her missing sister. But what was it really about? Allow me a slight tweak. What if both women had seen ghosts and demons from an early age, maybe after one of their parents dies? Except one shatters, needs years of therapy and retreats. The other uses it to become famous on YouTube. Immediately, it becomes a story about different ways of dealing with trauma. Finally, the ending was not good. I won't spoil it here, but it's so sudden and so random. It feels very rushed and almost comically over the top. Overall, this didn't work for me. The horror wasn't effective, the acting was okay, except that nobody really had much to do. The plot had a few holes in some places and dragged in others, and the rushed ending was the final nail in the coffin. And that's all. Roll credits.